Friends, welcome. I've been unable to come live because of non-stop work and responsibilities. But here I am today on this beautiful Monday and awaiting the eclipse and the full moon. Is it straight? I hope it is. The eclipse and the full moon that's coming up on the 5th. I've already prepared a report about it, so please check that out. Now, this video is about someone very special. His name is Kanifnath. And if you know anything about the Nath sampradaya, then you possibly know the name of Kanifinath Babaji. And it is said that Kanifnath was a yogi full of supernatural powers, and he could do the impossible. All right? And yet he was very, very kind, very generous, very Chaitanya, very full of Shiv consciousness. All right. So before I begin, I want to just take a moment to remember my Param Guru from the Nath lineage, Dr. Ramnath Aghori. Gurudev, Param Gurudev ko Adesh. Param Gurudev ko Adesh. Or Alak Adesh. And then my own Guru, Dr. Brumnath Aghori ko Alak Adesh. Dr. Brumnath Aghori ko Alak Adesh. Alak Adesh. And for all of you, Adesh, Adesh, Adesh. It's a very special word in the Nath Sampradaya that has deep meaning. And I will make a video on Adesh separately. But today's topic is Kanifnath Maharaj. And before I begin, and of course I forgot to say, Baba Kanifnath ko Alak Adesh. And I want to ask of him that I do justice to this subject matter in bringing this discourse to people who may not know about him or may not know about the rich yogic tradition of India. And it is stupendous, I tell you. The subatomic level, right? They could go into the subatomic levels, and they could the micro and the macro. So they understood what Kardashev calls type 2 civilization, type 3 civilizations. They understood what all of that meant. They understood why an atom is 99.999999999% emptiness. They could see through the illusion that, the meanness, the conscious meanness, the ego-driven personality. So the Nath Sampradaya is extremely esoteric, and you can't call them a cult. You've heard of the 9 great men from Ashoka's court, right? And this 9 great men from the Ashoka's court is the Navanathas, a rip-off of the Navanathas. Now, the Navanathas were the first secret society of the world, right? And not in the nefarious way that secret societies are interpreted, but a group of very powerful tantrics who held the energy vortex together. Now, my personal relationship with Kanifnath began when I was living in a place called Khandala. It's beautiful. It's about 2 hours away from Bombay, 2.5 hours. And I was living there for a while. And we also have a plot of land there. And there's a very famous dam over there called Bushi Dam. And Bushi Dam was the kind of place where all the bourgeois would go on weekends, and it's fantastic, so picturesque, right? And as fate would have it, I was living bang opposite Bushi Dam. And I would go there to walk every day, every evening. I would go there to walk. And while walking, I came across this quaint little temple far away in the wilderness amidst the thick foliage, all the trees all around thick and luscious and creating green canopies and the sunlight streaming through. And I was very intrigued that what is that temple, right? Because wherever you go in India, you come across so many real romanchak, as in mysterious temples. And then somebody there told me that, oh, this is the place of Kanifinath. He's also known as Kanifnath. Kanifnath. Or Kanifnath, as some people say. So, and because I was already initiated in the Nath sampradaya, I was a bit embarrassed because how come there is the temple of Kanifnath Baba here and I don't know about it, and I live opposite it. So then I called my Gurudev up in Nepal and I told him that, guess what, I found the temple of Kanifnath, and some say this is where his samadhi is. So he was like, yeah, it's right in Bushi Dam. I said, yeah, that's where I am. So he said that, and I remember at that point there was a very powerful eclipse coming, and it was quite crazy. And he said that, why don't you go there and do your upasana and sadhana in that temple that night. So my family was dead against it. They were like, no, you can't go all night in this temple and all of this. You can't do that. No. I mean, here when you are into spiritual affairs and you live with a family, you have a husband and you have a child, they don't always understand the need to remain immersed in things like that, right? So if I've got workshops all day and I'm doing puja for people all day, when I sit down for my own puja, my family is usually like, what, whole day you've been doing puja, again you are doing puja? So, and I have to tell them that that was for other people, this is for me. So there's this thing about safety, security. No, you cannot be out during the eclipse all night like this. What are you talking about? This is not acceptable. I said, let me go speak to them. They may not allow me either, because always why should they allow me to just suddenly come as some strange woman sitting down there to do japa all night during the eclipse? They may not allow it. Hey! So I said that let me go speak to the temple authorities and see if they'll allow. And it's mostly secluded, where hardly anybody is there. So I went there and I met this elderly person, and he was the Pandit ji there. And I told him that this is the Grahan is coming and I'm going to do a Nath sampradaya sadhana. So I would like to come and chant here in the night. So he looked at me, he said, ha Biti, you can come. So I was astounded. I was expecting a no, you're not allowed here. So, and then it was left up to me to convince my family that let me go. And I had a little baby. I just had a baby. So it was hard, and although I lived absolutely opposite, so ideally my family would be actually just opposite. But my husband made it a point to drop me, and I took my asan, I took my mala, and there was nobody there. Even the Pandit, he left, the Purohit, he left. And the temple is usually locked at night, and he said that I'll close the kapat, the door, and I will not lock it, but when you go in the morning, you close it. You just close the kapat, you don't have to lock it either. I'll be here by 5, 6. And I was also scared, right? I was scared. I was breastfeeding at that point, and I had gone to the smashan. I had done my smashan sadhana, but I had my guru there. I was not alone, right? So this was a rather interesting thing because it was just out of the blue that I just discovered this temple. And out of the blue, the Grahan was coming up, the eclipse, and I was doing a very special sadhana. And so I had not expected this. So I was like, okay. And I went in. It's dark, dark, dark. There's a Shiv lingam, and there's Kanifnath Baba's little idol. But I mean, honestly, nobody knows what he looks like. So, very handsome. Kanifnath Baba was very handsome. It is said that he was born in Bengal Bihar border. Okay, so that Bengal Bihar Jharkhand border, and he was well versed in many languages, Bengali as well, as my guru told me that this is all they hear in the circle. And since I am not a sannyasi, I stay as a grihasti. So there are a lot of things that I don't know because I'm not there all the time. I have special meetings and I just go meet my guru for that moment and talk, and that's it, I'm out. And this was a time before my guru had taken Maun. Now he's silent. So, whatever happened that night, I honestly cannot reveal because these things are to be experienced. These things cannot be articulated. They cannot be logically deduced. Logical deduction, common sense fails you at such times, because you, for a second, the veil is lifted, and your gaze pierces through the veil, and you see certain things that you cannot deduce via logic. It's not logical. It's not 2 plus 2 equals to 4, right? It is irrational, like pi. So, there are infinities encompassed within infinities. No. One second. Oh my God. That is my little chubby lion. I was worried about him too. Because right there, when we were living in Bushi Dam, he happened to wander away for 2 days. And I went nuts. But by the grace of God, he came back. By the grace of Kanifnath Baba, this little lion of mine. And guess what his name is? Damru. Bhairo has a Damru, Shiva has a Damru. Damru. Do Namu. See, I teach him like this. Do Namu. Say namaste. Okay, no messing around. You sit down. So where was I? Yeah. So I was scared when I was alone over there, and then I started to, and this was a sadhana that required suraksha gheras. So yeah, there was some absolutely scary things that happened that night. And yet when I let the fear subside and I let the fear transmute, I felt the fear, and then I let the fear transmute into acceptance that this is where I am, this is what it is, and I want to do this. So what's the problem now, right? Like stage fright. Like, you want to be an actress, but, you got to read your lines and give an audition and you freeze up. So I just told myself, you got to do it. So I was doing the Suraksha Ghiras, and I did Bhairo Baba Suraksha Ghira, Sharir Suraksha, and all of that. And I started my sadhana. And you will not believe it. I cannot tell you, as I said, divulge all the details. But I can tell you that the experiences I had that night, uh, I don't think I have been able to replicate that again. And this is why I do intend to make a trip there sometime and make a small documentary. And yeah, I have to live there. I don't have that place opposite Bushi anymore. So I'll have to go stay in a hotel and do all that. So yeah, I'm kind of looking to raise funds and go live there and take you through a sadhana there. It's dark, so you might not be able to see me, and no lights are allowed. Like I can't get a light and say I want to shoot here. But yeah, I mean, if anybody wants to support this idea, any of the Nath Panthis that are watching the video or will watch the video, if you want to support this documentary, I mean, we can call it a documentary, we can call it a plethora of content actually, a documentary, live shows, images, experiences, sadhana, literally doing the sadhana there. So all of this. So if you want to support that piece of work, then do drop me an email. Also consider becoming a member of the channel. It really helps. Like, comment, subscribe, share. Now before I get into who is Kanifnath, what is his mantra? Here I'll give you 3 mantras today. Okay, one of the most popular mantras, Om Chaitanya Kanifinathaya Namaha. Om Chaitanya Kanifinathaya Namaha. So whenever you invoke the Navanathas or any of the Nathas, then Om Chaitanya Gorakshanathaya Namaha. Om Chaitanya Gorakshanathaya Namaha. Om Chaitanya Matsyendranathaya Namaha. Like that. So Kanifnath's most popular mantra is Om Chaitanya Kanifinathaya Namaha. Now, in many of the Aghori schools, Aghori is not the right word, Aghori. So, Kanifnath Baba was an Aghori. Now, the thing is that people think Aghoris are, they sacrifice animals, they eat the flesh of a corpse, they live in smashan, they are like, they do black magic. But today I'll tell you something very deep, something that you will not get to hear everywhere. Ramchandra, yes, Ram Sita of Ramayana, was none other than an Aghori. Now many people are going to start abusing in the comment section if they've come so far in the video. But I'll tell you what, when you become an Aghori, you lose the sense of right, not right and wrong that way. You lose the sense of pure and impure. You lose the sense of light and darkness. You lose the sense of polarities, for you are encompassed in the dance of life and everything that it brings. When Ramachandra was doing Devi's Puja on Navratri, he was going to give 108 Kamal, lotus. And Devi took away 1 lotus. And Ramachandra, without flinching, sacrificed his eye as a lotus. Tell me, if he wasn't an Aghori, he would firstly not be able to perform something like that. He realized that his eyes are but flowers offered at the lotus feet of the Devi. So, the concept of purity, I have to ritually clean myself before my upasana. Even Uchishta Ganpati brings about this Aghori energy. There is no duality, there is no polarity, there is no pure, there is no impure. There only is consciousness. Sat, Chit, Ananda. There only is the glory of divine energy. So Ramachandra was an Aghori and he sacrificed without thinking his eye and he offered it at the lotus feet of the goddess without even flinching. And I'll tell you this, that very many powerful people, like including the avatar Krishna, he also was an Aghori. So the thing of an Aghori is not someone who stays in the crematorium, eats flesh, drinks alcohol, eats meat. No. That is the understanding in Kali Yuga. That is what we think is this ancient science of alchemy. All of these are, Tantra is alchemical, Rasayan, complete alchemy. Aghori, being an Aghori, is complete alchemy, as my guru says. To create darkness from light, to create light from darkness, and to understand that everything is the same in the dance of duality. To experience the void, the void of an atom, Kala, darkness. So, Kanifnath Baba, even if you are not from the Nath sampradaya and you are looking for a guru, you can take Kanifnath Baba as your guru. But you have to spend time awakening his energies within, without. Do you know that much of the Western world thinks that a lot of Tantra is Buddhist? I'm not going to take that away from them, yes. Buddhists have done some good work. But do you know that it was Kanifinath Baba, Kanifnath Maharaj, who taught them Vajrayana? What you say, Vajrayana. Vajrayan was taught by Kanifnath Baba. He is the one responsible in this yuga to awaken the energies of Mata Chinnamasta. And he gave the Buddhists a sadhana as Vajravarahi. Many people are running around saying they do Chinnamasta, they do Chinnamasta, they do Chinnamasta. If you do not have Kanifinath Siddhi, you cannot do Chinnamasta. If you keep, and if you do Kanifinath sadhana, you have to have a picture of Chinnamasta and a picture of Kal Bhairav. Hello, hello. Good to see somebody from Nepal. My brothers, I am from Calcutta. So, good to see Adesh, Adesh, Adesh. Now, as I said, please don't think that Aghoris are all about black magic, Jadu Tona, Masan Jagana, and all this, eating the flesh of a corpse. No. I, for one, am a vegan, right? And it is absolutely all right to be a sattvic Aghori. It is absolutely all right. You don't have to offer sharab or alcohol to Kal Bhairav. You don't have to. Yeah, if you choose to. Everything is about the disposition of the seeker, the disciple. What do you have in you? I teach my students that, if you, during Pancha Puja, When you say Lang Prithvi Tattvatmikayai Gandham Samarpayami, offer your scent, the scent of your soul, if you understand what I mean. Not your body, not the perfume or the deodorant you're spraying. The scent of your soul. Hanga Akasha Tattvatmikayai Pushpai Pujayami. The pushpa is in all your chakras. Offer that. As Rama offered his eye without flinching. Right? So, now we are moving on to the Aghoris who are doing this corpse eating, selfie with a corpse, going to the crematorium, going live there. I mean, honestly, that's their part. That's what they're here to do. But when they are doing this, they're corrupting the worldview on what an ogre is. The ogre is beyond all duality. Beyond all duality. So, there is no light, there is no darkness, there just is the divine essence, the absolute beingness. We can't even call it an essence. The beingness is there. Everything emanates from it. The ogre gets to the root. To the root. That's why people are so scared of Aghoris. Because this is what the Aghoris that are now being initiated, many of them, are seeking name and fame through the shock factor. Yellow journalism at best. You know, foreigners are coming, drinking, ganja, alcohol, going to crematoriums, taking permission, sometimes sneaking in, selfie with the corpses. This is not the path of the ogre. The ogre knows there is no polarity, there is no duality, there just is. Justice, just is. That was a nice play on words. So, Sri Chaitanya Kanifnathaya Namaha. The man who gave the world a vidya like Chinnamasta. He awakened Chinnamasta for us. And what a form Chinnamasta holds within. She severs her own head to feed Jaya Vijaya, her two attendants, and she feeds herself. And under her, Rati and Kameshwar are in sexual embrace, and she stands above them, severing the ego. The thing with Kanifnath Baba sadhana is if you approach it with ego, you won't get anywhere. You gotta approach it with love. Half of these ogres here have no power at all. It's just black clothes and pierced ears. Anybody can pierce the ear. Selfies in temples, selfies in crematoriums. The Western world, Aghori, the flesh-eating cult. That is not what the ogre is all about. The ogre is an alchemist. So, it looks like Kanifnath Baba is kind of blessing me, if I may say so, doing this video, because it is so important to speak about these things, to explain to the world that Aghoris are not some flesh-eating cult. Not people who put masans on you. The ogre has gone beyond all duality. The ogre is on the path to becoming an avadhut. So the Naths had a big responsibility. Big responsibility. Buddhism was spreading everywhere. The Hindus were holding the religion, the Brahmins were holding the religion, tight-fisted control. The lower caste, the Adivasis, the poor people converting to Christianity, Christianity didn't come yet, sorry. Converting to Buddhism at this stage, and then Jainism comes. And then Christianity, and then Islam. So these people are converting. The Brahmins are so tight-fisted. Forget reading the scriptures. You cannot even speak to God. You must do it through me. And interestingly, although I come from a Bengali Brahmin family, I have always been interested in rural goddesses and gods and rural ways of healing. They're extremely powerful, extremely beneficial, like Munusha or Manasa. In Bengali, we say Munusha. What a powerful goddess she is, the snake goddess Munusha. And there are a lot of other goddesses also, like Burima, and so many rural goddesses. And they're so beautiful. Yeah, you talk about the Vedic goddesses, Saraswati, Lakshmi, talk about the Dasha Mahavidyas. But the rural goddesses of India are so beautiful. So deep, in fact. So, as I was speaking, that people were converting to Buddhism left, right, and center. Shankaracharya was also an Aghori, as Rama, as Krishna, as Guru Vashisht, as Guru Vikramaditya. As the king Vikramaditya, of course, was an Aghori, but as Guru Vishwamitra. Many rishis and munis have been Aghoris, because this knowledge, it's eternal. So the Nathas, as I was saying, that Guru Shankaracharya came, taught Pancha Puja, and all this. But then there was still a huge control that the Brahmins held. And at that point, the Nath sampradaya was sort of came into being. And that is, I have a video on the Nath sampradaya, you can watch it. And at that point, their responsibility became heavy. It was their responsibility to spread Shabri Vidya to the masses. Shabri mantra is a mantra written in the vernacular, Bengali, Bhojpuri, Hindi, in the vernacular. There is no vidhi. There are vidhis actually, but there's no hard and fast vidhi or, like Shuddhi, Karanyas, Anganyas, Rishadinyas. No vidhis like that. Very easy. So people could do it. There's no samagri that you need. Tons of stuff, tons of things. People don't have the money. And Guru Gorakshanath, being the true democrat that he was, he decided that Shabri Vidya must be spread in the masses, so they can gain enlightenment too. Everybody deserves this. Everybody deserves self-actualization. That is the power of the Nath sampradaya, to give Shabri mantra, Shabri Vidya to people. And I'll tell you this, that Shabri Vidya is very powerful in Kali Yuga, even more so than any Vedic puja, Vedic mantra, even more than Tantric mantras, unless you have a very solid base in Tantra. Shabri Vidya is actually applicable to all, from any country, any religion, anyone can do this. This is the gift of the Nath sampradaya. So, they started to make Shabri mantras popular. indigenous folks started to do this, you know. They and the Nathas are considered holy even by Islamic tantrics, by Sikh tantrics, by Jain tantrics, and of course Buddhist tantrics. They in fact they taught all these subsects. So as I said, Guru Kanifinath brought the energy of Chinnamasta alive in this yuga, gave us the power of Chinnamasta, the power to sever our ego, to feed our children. The mother is ever benefic. So, people who say they have Chinnamasta Vidya without Kanifnath Siddhi are lying. Because if it's like saying that, you know, I know advanced calculus without the Pythagorean theorem. You can't. You gotta get to the crux of it. You gotta understand arithmetic. You gotta understand algebra. Then you can move on to advanced calculus, and so on and so forth. Right? You don't just get up and start doing equations on quantum mechanics. It's a process. So Chinnamasta can never be invoked without Guru Kanifnath's blessings and siddhi. Om Chaitanya Kanifnathaya Namaha. So, he was actually the favorite of Guru Jalandhar Nath, one of the original Nathas. He was favorite. And he and Matsendra Nath were actually Guru Bhais, right? And they learned under Dattatreya. And they learned under Guru Jalandhar Nath. Guru Jalandhar Nath, and Guru Jalandhar Nath was initiated by Dattatreya. So when Shiva told Devi all the tantras, Ganesh heard it, and Ganesh then told Skanda Kumar, right, Mangal. And on the other hand, Shiva himself taught Ravan. There was no greater tantric than Ravan. There was no greater astrologer than Ravan. Ravan Tantra is very, very powerful. But what did Ravan do with that knowledge? Ravan misutilized that knowledge. So Shiva himself put Kilak. He bound the power of the mantras. For he said, not going there again. This is such a powerful energy that Asuric people, people with stop, people with demonic dispositions are going to misuse it. So Shiva himself nailed the mantras. Then appeared Dattatreya. Dattatreya encompasses the Trinity, Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara. And Dattatreya is the master of the Nath sampradaya. And he taught Guru Jalandhar Nath. And Guru Jalandhar Nath loved Kanifnath because Kanifnath was his disciple. So, very interesting story, right? And how Dattatreya himself was actually responsible for Kanifnath's growth because he is his Param Guru. As I told you that I have known my Param Guru even before I met my Guru at the Kumbh Mela. I have known Dr. Ramnath Aghori even before I met my Guru, who was a direct disciple of Ramnath Aghori and who was brought up by Ramnath Aghori, not some disciple that, oh come, I give you a mantra and you're my disciple. Ramnath Baba brought him up, brought my Guru up. Since he was a child, he grew up learning, working with Ramnath Aghori throughout. So, my introduction to Guru Brahmnath was purely the work of Guru Ramnath Aghori. Okay? Without Ramnath Aghori Maharaj, I would not have met him. It was also a fluke coincidence that I just happened to meet him at the Kumbh Mela like that. Now, Kanifinath Baba's work is not very well known because not too much literature exists, alright? And it is said that he was very adventurous, he was very handsome, and he was very adventurous. So he would travel all through India, he'd go to forests, he'd go to Girnar, he'd go to Haridwar, he'd go all over Nepal, Tibet, all those places, China, because in China we have Manas Sarovar. Lot of Hindu yogis and tantrics go to China, that Indo-China border. It's full of sadhaks and sadhikas, that place. So, and it is said that when he was traveling through all these crazy, crazy places, he met Hanuman. Hanuman is an immortal. He met Hanuman. He also learned a lot from Guru Gorakshanath, who appeared before him. The Nathas actually keep coming back. So, my theory was that my Param Guru Ramnath Aghori is actually a reincarnation of none other than Guru Gorakshanath. So, Guru Gorakshanath ko Adesh. Now, and also many people say that Kanifnath Baba is a direct incarnation of Prabuddhanath, who was also known as Gajabeli, Gajakangan Nath. Okay, and the thing with Kanifnath Baba sadhana is very simple. The beginning stage is Om Chaitanya Kanifinathaya Namaha. Om Chaitanya Kanifinathaya Namaha. Om Chaitanya Kanifinathaya Namaha. At least 3 malas a day. Simple vidhi also. I'll be also telling you this Shabad mantra. Now there is the Kanif Gayatri. That has to be also learned. So first stage of sadhana is, of course, I don't advise anyone to do this by themselves. You are interested to learn about Kanifnath, then drop me an email and connect with Baba Kanifnath. Om Bhur Bhuva Swaha Siddha Kanifanatha Avahana Sthapyami. This is his Gayatri, and this needs to be chanted 108 times a day. After you have done already, say for 21 days, Om Chaitanya Kanifinathaya Namaha, then this Gayatri. I'll repeat it again for those. No, mantras will not be written in the description box, because if you want to make the effort, you have to come so far into the video, and you have to have a paper and pencil ready. And don't type this out, write it, right? So when you write something, you immediately feel it in your body, because the hands, I told you, are very, very important. Everything is in the hands. So writing is indeed a very powerful thing to do, and not typing, I mean writing. The good old-fashioned cursive with a pen. I'm not saying use fountain pen, or a quill, but just get writing, you know what I mean. Om Bhurbhuva Swaha Siddha Kanifinathaya Avaham Sthapyami. Om Bhurbhuva Swaha Siddha Kanifinatha Avahana Sthapyami. So this has to be chanted after that stage. And now the Shabad mantra I'll give you, right? And the Padhvati of the Shabad mantra has to be Gurumukhi. As in, you have to take initiation for Shabad, otherwise it does not work. There's also Guru mantra that is taught. There's a Sharir Raksha mantra that is taught. Okay? So, this mantra that I'll tell you, right, has to be chanted in the morning, and at least again 3 malas. And in the night, ahutis have to be given. So, you have to make a small fire with gugul and camphor, and then you have to give 7 Shabdi mantra ahutis and 7 Gayatri ahutis, right, with clove. Do not offer til at all, because remember, til is not offered to Lord Shiva, and Kanifinath is, all the Nathas are emanations of Shiva himself. So do not, cross over, do not offer tulsi. Uh, do not offer Durba to Devi. Durba is for Ganpati. Tulsi is for Krishna. Because the particular vanaspati or plant attracts that energy. Bel patta. Okay, although everybody loves bel patta, but do not, give ahutis with til. You get it? So cloves are fine, just do cloves. And you can do bali of, hey, no, no, no. You can do bali with lemon. 5 lemons, okay. If you can't get 5, 3, fine. If you can't get 3, 1, fine. There's a way to offer the Naivedya and all that, which will be taught in the workshop only, not here. But let's just, again, the videos become like really long again. Om Shiva Siddha Kanifnath Ji Purvakhand Bihar Kshetra पहाड़पुर स्थान बैठकर स्थापना स्थापलो गुरु सिद्ध जलंधर नाथ जी के शिष्य कहालो शिव कर्ण से उत्पन्न भया स्वयं पाओ नाथ पंथ की योगी कहाया कापालिक पेवा के सिद्धि कणीफनाथ जी के चरण कमल को आदेश. So I'm not going to repeat the Shabar mantra, it's quite long, and you will have to, of course, consult me and get initiated in the Shabri Vidya if you're interested. And the way to set up Kanifnath Baba's altar, just go online and type Kanifnath, and you will have a picture. And right on the left will be Devi, right on the left will be Devi, and on the right will be Kal Bhairav. So you'll also have to do Raksha Ghera of Kal Bhairav, especially if you're doing serious prayogas. But again, serious prayogas you can't even do without Gurumukhi initiation. You cannot even chant the Shabar mantra. But anyway, before we go, let's do the Shabar mantra again. ओम शिव सिद्ध कणीफनाथ जी पूर्वखंड बिहार क्षेत्र पहाड़पुर स्थान बैठ कर स्थापना स्थापलो गुरु सिद्ध जलंधर नाथ जी के शिष्य कहालो शिव कर्ण से उत्पन्न भया स्वयं पाओ नाथ पंथ के योगी कहाया कापालिक पेवा के सिद्ध कणीफनाथ जी के चरण कमल को आदेश. Adesh, Adesh, Adesh. Very powerful word, right? As they say, Satyadeep Navakhanda mein Adesh Naam ki seva. I'll come with the Adesh explanation soon, as well as the Adesh Gayatri. And that is all for today. I have a class right now. Thank you so much. And blessings. Baba Kanifnath ke Shri Charan ko Allah ka Adesh. Bye.